Welcome, everyone. Appreciate you coming out this evening to join us for our presentation on public service graduate degrees at the Carsey School of Public Policy. I wanted to introduce our academic team to you. Myself, I'm in the lower left corner. I'm responsible for the academic affairs of our academic programs. Ann Kimball, Student Services Coordinator. She'll be in touch with you and feel free to reach out for any questions with Anne or myself. Sanjeev Sharma is in charge of admissions and advising. He is the graduate academic advisor for all of our programs. Next is Melinda Negron Gonzalez, who is the Global Conflict and Human Security Program Director, and Paul Dan, who heads up our Master of Public Administration and Master in Public Policy programs. And last but not least is Jolan Rivera, who's joining us this evening for a presentation on all of our academic programs, but he is primarily responsible for our Master in Community Development program. You want to take it away, Jolan?
Thanks so much, Robin. Good late afternoon, folks. As Robin said, my name is Jolan Rivera. I coordinate the Masters in Community Development Policy and Practice program here at Carsey. And I would like to share with you what Carsey is about, specifically when it comes to its academic programs. Isn't it, if we listen to media today, there's a lot of stories about communities in despair, communities in disrepair, communities that are devastated as if, they are not active agents in their own change process. But the reality is research and literature, as well as our own personal experiences, would actually show that communities across the US and even around the world are actually thriving. They're creating positive and lasting change in people's lives. However, I would be romanticizing development if I would say that they can do this all on their own. In some instances, some communities can indeed create their own change, but for those communities where there's a majority of folks who have been either institutionally or historically been marginalized because of the forces of history, like colonization, overreach of markets, corrupt governments, etc., it is sometimes necessary that support is given to these communities. And this is where the Carsey program comes in. It is really it is really geared towards folks, people who are either beginning or aspiring to or already seasoned when it comes to providing public service. That is to provide needed services by communities in order for them to actually push for their own development. But services come in different forms, isn't it? It could actually be in the form of community development. It could be in the form of policy. It can be in the form of advocacy or actually being more efficient in administering programs. So there are ways by which we do this. In fact, we don't even dispel the fact that it's possible that the market system itself can actually promote this. But specific to the Carsey School, we look at development growth as an outcome as well as a process. As an outcome, we look at the eventuality of communities that don't experience poverty, for example, or hunger, or have better experiences when it comes to health or education, access to water, gender equity, and the other important sustainable development goals embodied in the United Nations. And that is the goal. That is development as an outcome. Well, development is also a process, isn't it? So how do we do that? As I mentioned earlier, it could be through policy, it could be through advocacy, it could be efficient administration, or it could be through community development. And therefore, let me please quickly introduce you or walk you through the 4 academic programs that we have at Carsey that embody different ways by which, or various ways by which we approach development as a process, starting with the Masters in Community Development Policy and Practice, which we call MCD. So MCD is a 14-month online programs. Okay, so the modality is online. Learning happens online, and typically it takes 14 months. As you would see later, it can even be more than 14 months, but it is achievable. It is possible to achieve the program in 14 months. And it is a program that is both for the seasoned and aspiring development practitioners who would like to gain knowledge and skills in partnering with communities. This program underscores the importance of community as the entry point for change. Are you able to gain the necessary skills and knowledge to be effective and efficient partners of the community? And among others, we offer four capstone courses wherein students are going to learn, design, implement, manage, and evaluate a real community development project. So it could be something that's happening in your neighborhood. It could be something that actually you're doing for your job. It could be something that you wanted to do but never had opportunity to. It could be also part of a social organization that you belong to in your community. Let's say uh, uh, as part of what you do as a teacher, a parent-teacher organization, or maybe as part of a place of worship that you belong to and you would like to create social change. So these are examples of capstone community projects that you will be able to learn about and at the same time implement as part of the Master in Community Development. Perhaps it would be better to kind of like humanize the program by providing you an example. Like Janie Bright is one of our recent graduates. Uh, let me just adjust my screen here. So she is the vice president of of the local government federal credit union in Raleigh, North Carolina. So she had her capstone, which is she came up with a project that brokered resources, raise funds, etc., to assist a local nonprofit to help low-income households maintain their homes, make their homes safe. So this is more maintaining homes. So as we know, the housing is really difficult, but it is even more difficult if you are not able to maintain it. So Janie's project was actually started with an idea. She conducted research. She designed the project, implemented, monitored, and evaluated it. So part of the learning process is to learn how to do research, learn how to design projects, learn how to monitor projects. So while you're learning it, though, we will ask you to actually implement it. So that very active learning process is important for the Masters in Community Development. And there are a lot of career paths for those interested in the MCD program. Just as an example, another example, one of our graduates, Alice Ko, he is the manager of the Community Engagement and Inclusion at New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority. Ali is highly accomplished. He just had been recently voted in as a city council member of the city of Concord in New Hampshire. He was awarded the 40 under 40 in the state of New Hampshire, and Ali has a very interesting journey. So Ali would be an example of classmates that you will be having in the program and careers that you might be able to attain through the program. In fact, there are various careers in community development, like community development director, being a nonprofit manager, a community engagement coordinator, or even a program coordinator, or a policy and an analyst in the field of community development, as well as like the project of Janie in the previous slide, to be a fundraising coordinator. So there are a lot of options, but how do we get there? A lot of it is really gaining knowledge and skills, practical, meaningful, applicable knowledge and skills. For example, in the MCD program, you will have to take 12 courses. 5 of them are core required courses, from integrative approaches to development to economic analysis, fiscal management, organizational management, and policy making, to 4 experiential courses, the capstone courses that I just described, as well as a number of elective courses. This can all be completed within 14 months if you take 2 courses per term. The terms that we have at UNH in the online program is 8 weeks per term, and Robin is going to elaborate more on this later on. But students have the option to actually complete the MCD program in as short as 14 months, or if you're going to take one course at a time, it's going to take around 24 months. How much would this cost? For out-of-staters, it's 880 per credit, so around 31,680, including the other fees. And this is for out-of-state, so it could be cheaper for in-state applicants. Another way by which we can affect change in communities is through efficient administration. So therefore, our second master's program is Masters of Public Administration. So it is like the MCD program, an online program geared towards public administrators and nonprofit leaders. There's a 12-month executive MPA, which is for those who have 5 years or more of management experience. You actually can complete the program by completing 10 courses, not 12 courses. And in this program, your skill set will expand in terms of public service and nonprofit management skills, knowledge, and awareness. Let's take an example. For example, Robert Buxton is an alumnus of the program. He is currently the director of the New Hampshire Department of Safety Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. He graduated in 2019 and he spent 2 years, 2017-2019, to complete the program. Again, as you could see here, and our graduates have this building of experience through time, and we would like to think that their participation in our academic programs contributed to this journey. And as you would notice already, our students come from North Carolina. Now we see folks in New Hampshire or native New Hampshireites, born and raised here perhaps, or new New Hampshireites, so to speak, folks who are working in New Hampshire but came here from other places or even other countries. Another example, perhaps, of a career that you might be able to track through an MPA program is that of Brittany Matthews. She's a graduate of our program, and she's currently the Director of Policy and Advocacy in the Center for Higher Education and Policy here in Hampshire. So her MA capstone is a collaboration with a New Hampshire statewide initiative called Live, Free, and Start, which is focused on engaging startup businesses to build support and create a sustainable foundation for them to move forward. Okay. As you can see here again, Brittany has this interesting and really rich background. And part of what the Carsey School wants to cultivate is peer-to-peer learning. As much as you have experienced and skilled instructors, we pride ourselves with having cohorts or participants in the program that have rich knowledge, skills, and backgrounds that you can learn from each other. Career paths when it comes to the MPA program are varied, similar to the MCD program, from administrative directors to city managers, economic development directors, to nonprofit directors or research analysts. And there could be more, okay? Here are the courses that MPA students take. For those who are in the executive MPA, which means that you have 5 or more years of managerial experience, you take 10 courses. For a regular or traditional MPA, you take 12 courses. Here are 3 courses that are required. The basic core required courses are Foundations and Theories of Public Administration, Organization and Management in Public and Nonprofit Sector, and Introduction to Statistical Analysis. As you could see here now, folks, isn't it? It really is promoting efficiency. You might be doing the right things. Are you doing it the right way, though, when it comes to administering programs, running nonprofits, grant writing, strategic communications, leadership, financial management, and effective change management? There are a couple of tracks within the MPA program, details of which can be learned if you get in touch with us, as Robin will let you know how to get in touch with us to get into details of this. But end of the day, if you're after being efficient in creating change, then the MPA program could be the one for you. Again, as I mentioned, you can complete this as short as 12 months if you take 2 courses as an executive MPA student, or perhaps 24 months if you want to take a course at a time. For executive MPA, the cost is 26,400 for the entire program. For the MPA, it's 31,680. It could be cheaper for in-state students. Our third program is the Master of Science in Global Conflict and Human Security. It is a program where, one, similar to MCD and MPA, it is an online program. It's a professional degree in humanitarian relief and community development. And you can think of it this way. It is the intersection between global affairs and community development. GCHS still looks at community as an important venue or arena for change. And this program makes it special because it puts it in the backdrop of global affairs, that the community is part of a larger whole, from the national to even the global scale, with emphasis, not solely, but with emphasis on global conflict and human security. It's also a program where it allows its students to actually to interact with other students in the Carsey programs through courses that they take. Example, the in-person DC colloquium that Robin is going to elaborate on a little bit towards the second half of the presentation. To have a better understanding of the program, we would like to introduce one of its graduates, Maria Deneau. She is an emergency management technician at the United States Air Force. She graduated in 2020, and as you could see here, she has also a unique journey. Again, I hope that you are now seeing kind of like the diversity of our students, isn't it? Different backgrounds, different genders, different approaches to development, and as you could see, different degrees. Another way of looking at this, other than what we've seen with Maria, is we could see with Andrew. Andrew Sparaga is a monitoring and evaluation specialist at the U.S. government agency. He's going to complete his program at the end of this term. And as again, you could see here, I mean, Andrew, while taking the same program as Maria, has a different background. His focus is on monitoring, evaluation, and program analysis. He also has experience working overseas. And here are other potential career options that you have as a GCHS graduate: foreign aid specialist, program manager, humanitarian aid worker, international development specialist, or even a policy analyst that is focusing on communities, for example, post-conflict. That's just an example. It runs the gamut of ongoing, and post-conflict. And then here are examples of the courses you take. There are 5 required core courses on international development and human security, conflict and human security, global governance, policies across borders, and sustainable development, taking into account the nexus between gender and environment. There are a couple of tracks within the program. Either you go into the project management track or the policy administration track, and then you have one elective. Why? Because it's a program with 10 courses. So you can actually complete the program in 12 months if you take 2 courses at a time, and 24 months if you take 1 course at a time. And as you could see here, the cost per credit is lower, and because it's only 10 courses, it's 21,450 total, and could be cheaper if you're an in-state applicant. Now, last but not least, definitely not least, is the Master's in Public Policy. So this is the only on-campus program that we have. Okay? MCD, MPA, and GCHS are all online programs. The MPP program is in campus. It can be completed in 16 months, a minimum, taking courses on strategy and communications, policy analysis, depending on the track or specialization that you would like to take. It has an internship component as well as a public policy capstone. The important thing to see here is that how do you utilize policies? How do you utilize policy to create change? And the skills that you're going to be learning is about research, analysis, and communication. How do you strategically communicate policy? How do you advocate for certain policies, etc.? Well, how do you research it? How do you analyze it? Perhaps best to understand through the experience of one of our graduates, Sarah Reitzman. So Sarah is the manager of the Community Engagement and Education at New Hampshire Housing. She has a bunch of awards that she got from UNH and from the state of New Hampshire. Again, important things for us to underscore because, again, the peer-to-peer learning is really great because you are learning from folks who have the experience as well as the expertise. Experience as shown by Sarah's journey and expertise as shown by the awards that she has uh, 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 received. Another student that we had is Zachary Phillips. Okay, Zachary is a little bit different also. He's a law clerk at the New Hampshire Department of Justice, and he's a graduate of a dual degree in MPP and JD at UNH. So he is the co-founder of Veterans Legal Justice, a nonprofit organization that helps veterans in New Hampshire find pro bono legal help. Again, as you could see here, Zachary has a really diverse and interesting background that you can learn more when you have classmates that are similar to him or even maybe different to him. At the end of the day, folks that take MPP have various career paths, including policy or program research, leadership, policy advocacy, sustainable manager, consultant even, or a nonprofit president. These are not made up positions, folks. These are actually careers that some of our graduates have embarked on during or after the program. Here are examples of the courses that you take in MPP. There are 5 core courses: Fundamentals of Policy Analysis, Policy Across Borders, Strategy and Practice of Public Policy, Economics for Public Policy, and Quantitative Methods for Policy Research. And there are 4 courses that are experiential in nature, and two tracks: strategy and communication or policy analysis, as well as 4 electives. So this is a program that requires 40 credits. So it takes a little bit longer, 16 months instead of like the other 3 where you can actually complete them in 12 months. And the cost is a little bit higher. The cost per credit is the same as MCD, but because we're looking at 40 credits here, 14 courses, it's 35,200 for out-of-staters. So that, folks, is the breadth, depth, the gamut range, the ups and downs, the different shades and forms by which you can create change through knowledge and skills gained in our various programs at Carsey. At the end, development is a goal, isn't it? It's an outcome. How to get there are different ways. So it depends on how you and your organization sees change. We have all of the possibilities for you to increase your knowledge, skills, and expertise in public service, in community development, and nonprofit management. So I will pass on to Robin to provide you with equally important details on how to get into the program and your experience. So I'll pass it to Robin now. Oh, you're still muted, Robin.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jalan. I really enjoyed your presentation and, seeing all the faces of all of our students and graduates and, their journeys up to joining our programs and then following them because we're still in touch with our alumni and keeping in touch with, their continuing journey. And it's really remarkable, truly inspirational students and alums that we have. So getting back to our presentation here, this is just sort of an overview of all of our programs. They range from 10 to 14 courses, timeline from 12 to 16 months, or if you take things slower on a more part-time basis, up to 24 months. You can customize your degree with either electives or specialization tracks in each of the different degrees. And 3 of our programs are fully online, asynchronous. Some of the courses also have a synchronous portion with meetings on Zoom. And then our Master in Public Policy program is our on-campus program. Thanks. Jalan referred to me covering sort of our academic calendar. On your left-hand side, you'll sort of see the traditional on-campus, schedule. You have a fall semester, spring semester, and summer semester. What's kind of missing here is just in between the fall and the spring, we have a January term or a J term semester, which is when our Washington, D.C. colloquium occurs. And I'll talk about that in a few moments. For our online programs, they follow the same schedule starting in the fall. We have a term 1, which runs for 8 weeks, and then there's a 1-week break. And then you have your second term within the fall semester. There's then a month break if you don't do a January term course before you start again in the spring in January for 8 weeks with another break, and then term 4 for another 2 months. And then you can, if you're not doing a summer semester, you could take the whole summer off. If you're taking a summer course, then you have another 1-week break before you start again with classes in May through July. Next slide. I just wanted to mention a few words about our Washington, D.C. colloquium. It is a course that is available to all of our students. So it's really a great melding of all of our programs together, especially for our online programs that want a more in-person experience. All of our students meet down in Washington, D.C., and for a 1-week period, they are meeting from dawn till dusk and sometimes after with policymakers, think tank people, strategy and communications organizations, nonprofit organizations, just a wide range of people and journeys that they have had, how they, got into this kind of work, what they love about their jobs, what they don't like about their jobs. It's a great time to really connect with these different people. We've had students that have done their internship with these organizations, and some that have even worked for these organizations after they graduated. So it's a really rich experience for our students, and it also helps connect our students to one another because they're together for a whole week in this, very intensive experience. All right, Jolan. Just a few words about the University of New Hampshire. If you're not familiar with it, it is has the top rank as a research institution. Our Carsey classes focus on peer learning, as Jolan mentioned, with small class sizes. Our faculty are not only scholars, but they are also practitioners doing active work out in the field. So they bring that rich current experience from the field into the classroom to share with you. And our community is really focused on theory and practice. In the 4 capstone project courses that Jolan talked about, you learn the theory in the classroom and then you immediately apply it in your capstone project. And to me, there's no better way to learn than doing it that way. All right, Jolan, thank you. As an online or an in-person student, you have a wealth of supports from the University of New Hampshire. All of our students have a graduate academic advisor who is Sanjeev Sharma, who I introduced at the beginning of our presentation. He sits down with you before you even start your program and talks with you about your career plans and helps you figure out like which track is good, which elective courses you would prefer to take to help get you where you want to be at the end. He checks in with you every semester to make sure you're on track and, and to address any issues that you encounter. He's really a fabulous resource. IT services are at your full disposal. We have a hotline that you can call anytime if you're having trouble with software or your computer. They really will help you fix any issues you might be having with your technology. Library resources. Our librarians are phenomenal, and we have dedicated librarians for each of our programs, and they've set up a whole resource list for you to access in terms of research. You can set up appointments with them, and they will help you review your research. They will teach you the tools that are available to you to use to be productive with your research. We also have two things, an online writing lab for those individuals that are working online. And if you're writing a paper and you're not sure about the layout, or you're not sure about whether you're really making your point, you can upload your document to the online writing lab and they will take a look at it and they will give you recommendations and suggestions on how to make your writing even better. If you're an on-campus student, you go to the Connors Writing Lab, which is right in the Diamond Library on campus, and you can make appointments and sit down with them, and they will review your papers with you. At the end of your journey with the Carsey School, we have career and professional success team that will help you find a job if you are not already employed or you're looking to make a career change. They're happy to work with you on that. Next slide. Thank you. Okay, financial aid. We have a wide variety of financial aid that is available. Through the Carsey School, we offer partial tuition scholarships, generally in the range of $4,000 to $6,000 based upon need. There are also, for people that work for the University System of New Hampshire, there are tuition benefits that you can take advantage of there. There also may be tuition that you can get, tuition benefits you can get from your place of employment that will, help you out with the cost of tuition. We also support the federal financial aid, the FAFSA, for those who qualify for federal financial aid in terms of loans and work study. And we've hired work study students before. Education awards. We offer a wide variety of education awards that we do in partnership with organizations such as the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, NeighborWorks of America, Grow America, LISC, which is Local Initiative Support Corporation, NALCAB, Inclusive, Opportunity Finance Network, New Hampshire Municipal Association. We're constantly expanding our offerings of partnerships with significant education awards. They tend to range from like $5,000 awards to like 20% education awards. Okay, that's it. There we go. Application, what is required? All our applications are done online. There's an application fee of $65. 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. All of the programs, with the exception of global conflict and human security, are 3 letters of recommendation. Global conflict only requires 2 letters of recommendation. College transcripts, the important note there is that when you initially submit your application, you can submit it with your unofficial transcripts that you have, a hard copy of. You can scan it and just upload that. After you have been admitted and you accept your offer, then you will need to have your college transcripts officially sent from your university directly to the University of New Hampshire. Probably the most important part of your application is the personal statement, which is where we want to understand who you are as a person, what your goals are, your career goals, your personal goals, what you hope to get out of the program, what you hope to be able to contribute to the program. We're looking for a 1-page, max of 2, so we don't need a biography. We're just really looking for, a better understanding of who you are as a person and what you are likely to be as a student in the program. We also strongly encourage a resume. That's fine, Jillian. Thanks. So we're currently accepting applications for the spring of 2025, and the deadline for that, if you want to start in the spring, is December 15th. The application deadline, just so you know, for fall is August 1st.